fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Whoever be in power, don't worry. Whichever political party comes into power, don't worry. Whichever religions comes, the majoritarian religions tomorrow, don't worry. Because as long as this Constitution of India is there, we are going to be governed by rule of law. We are going to get our fundamental rights. We are going to get our equal opportunities for all citizens. And this happened only because of the Keshavananda Bharati judgment. Keshavananda Bharati judgment said, don't touch the basic features, basic structure of the Constitution. But for Keshavananda Bharati, I am not sure how long our Constitution will survive in this nature. Swamiji asked me to be present in this occasion. But when I stand up here now, I am a little worried. I am worried because from then onwards I started to think what I will speak here today. But after Honorable Justice Bhatti sir's speech, nothing remains to be spoken about Sachidananda, this Keshavananda Bharati case. Whatever I thought and more has been placed before you by Honorable Justice Bhatti sir with precision, clarity and brevity. Precision, clarity and brevity is the hallmark of Justice Bhatti. When in Kerala High Court, we all judges and lawyers say that whatever you argue in the first 5 minutes, Bhatti sir will understand your case. Your prolonging arguments for 2 hours, 3 hours is not going to help. Such a grasping power. And my lord's judgments are so brief to the core. But beware, mind you, that each words used by Bhatti sir would speak volumes in the context. That is why I said I am worried now. I have nothing more to say. But now I would rather opt to speak about not the judgment of Keshavananda Bharati, but the impact of Keshavananda Bharati judgment. Just Keshavananda Bharati's case, Honorable Apex Court said, the Constitution, basic features, basic structure of the Constitution cannot be amended even by Parliament. The basic structure of the Constitution was made by the Parliament with the will of the people. That cannot be changed. This is the crux of the judgment. Now lawyers and even law students would understand what is the implication and impact of this judgment. Common man may not. Therefore I would just try to explain it. To understand it, we should know what was the position of India in 1947 when we got independence, and what is the position of India today, and how this 1973 judgment has impacted the sojourn, the democratic process of India. In 1947, when India got independence, the European countries predicted, they made a doomsday prediction that this country, India, is not going to survive as a democratic country for even 5 years. India is going to, as a democracy, India will collapse like a pack of cards in 10 years, if not 5 years. They predicted. They had reason to worry, they have reason to predict also. Because the literacy of India in the year 1947 was 18%. 82% were illiterates. So the Europeans said, see, how can 82% illiterate citizens can bring a democracy forward, take a democracy forward. These people doesn't know even to read the name of their own candidates who are they going to vote. Unless there is a symbol, some cow, sickle, lotus, unless there is some symbol, they cannot even vote. Such illiterate citizens, people cannot carry forward a constitutional democracy. That was the first point. Then they said, this is not a nation. India is not a nation. It is a conglomeration of so many countries. They have different cultures. They have different religions. They have a different way of dressing style, different languages, multiple languages. They have different food habits, different kingdoms, different cultures. How such a conglomeration of states can remain as one country in a democracy? So India is going to fall. Then they said, it is a poor country. They do not cultivate, there is no agriculture properly. India government cannot feed its own 38 crores people without importing pulses and wheats from abroad. They don't have. These people are going to die of hunger. We don't produce. India doesn't produce. Then how this democracy is going ahead? There is no health infrastructure in India at that time. Whatever diseases prevalent in any part of the world, those diseases were in abundance in India. Plague, cholera, diphtheria, polio, name it. Everything was there in India in 1947, including tuberculosis. And there was no strong medical support system in India. So how India is going to survive? Any time this country will collapse. They said these people are pagans. These people are pagan. They pray to different gods, multiple gods. They make prayer to the trees. They are praying to animals. Even serpents and rats are their gods. They see river as their goddess. How can these pagans go ahead as a democratic country? Impossible, they predicted. But 75 years later, when we complete the 75 years of Indian democracy, you find out where we are standing now. Our literacy has gone more than 75%. 75%. Large number of scientists, doctors working across the world are Indians, or at least persons of Indian origin. In the field of agriculture, during the war with Pakistan, we had no pulses to eat. We approached America and they gave us wheat. On the basis of their help only India could survive. During that time, Srimati Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, she said, no, we are never going anymore with our begging bowl to any foreign country. We will produce agriculture here, we will revolutionize the Indian agricultural sector. A green revolution was brought. Today, we are exporting wheats and pulses and rices everywhere. When problem came, Sri Lanka, India exported. Problems are there in Afghanistan, we are exporting food grains. We are suppliers of food grain. 75 years, when they predicted that these people are going to die with hunger, today we are exporting. They said, you don't have medical infrastructure. Sir, friends, during COVID period we found India produced vaccination, manufactured vaccines for COVID. We exported these vaccines to multiple countries. Today many countries say, unless India had exported vaccine, COVID vaccine, our situation would have been disastrous. They thank India. India has become a medical destination now. People from various countries, even from Europe, they are coming to India for treatment, especially in the Ayush, Ayurveda and all that. India has turned out to be a medical destination. So this transformation from 1947 to 2023, India in 1947 was a third world country. They didn't say we are first world or second world, third world, underdeveloped, not even a developing country. But today, we are the fifth strongest financial power in India. From nowhere we have reached fifth position. And whom we covered to come to this fifth position, we pushed back the England, the Great Britain, who ruled us for 200 years, to come from sixth position to fifth position. And it is maybe accidental. The Great Britain, the country where sun never sets, is now ruled by a person of Indian origin. In a democratic manner, not using arms and force. In a democratic manner, Indians are being elected as persons of Indian origin are being elected as leaders by the world. We have now reached moon, South Pole, where no other country has landed. This is our sojourn. This is where India stands now. It is predicted that, even European predict that, if last century was of belong to Europeans, this century is going to be of Asians. Asians are going to be the superpowers. There are only two choices. One is China, then India. These two countries in Asia will be dominating the world scenario in this century. India is now fifth. It is stated that by 2030 India will be reaching 3. By 2050, whether we will reach number one or number 2 is the question. Yesterday I read the newspapers. China in 2023 pegged their GDP target to 5.5 for the year 2023. After a few months they revised it, brought it down to 4.5. Now the prediction is China is going to achieve only 3% GDP by the end of the year. Whereas the last quarter's India's GDP is somewhere near 5.72 or so. More than what we expected. So if this trend goes, no wonder India can become number 1. This is the scenario. Now, I ask you, from 1947, when we traveled 75 years, how this became possible? This became possible because of the tremendous service, selfless service of large sections of our Indian population. The farmers, they fought in their agricultural fields to bring about changes, to increase the production. They fought the unpredictable weathers, and now we are exporting pulses. We are exporting pulses. In the field of education, lakhs and lakhs of teachers, gurus, who worked hard, made this possible, that 18% literacy, today it is 75% literacy, more than 75% in India. They made this revolution. India has a very strong infrastructure, medical infrastructure now. I think it's good. They have decided, the government has decided to establish one medical college at least in each district of India, 544 medical colleges. We are going that way. But how this became possible? This became possible because of our constitution, which we adopted, enacted and gave to ourselves in the year 1949. It is this constitution of India which gave rights, fundamental rights to every citizen. Right to equality. Sections of society who were denied education for long 1,000 years, who were discriminated, they had no option, they had no choice, they had no chance of studying, becoming literate. Constitution of India guaranteed that education should be given to all, there should be equality in this area, equality of opportunity in the area of employment. It guaranteed right to life. It guaranteed all fundamental rights. It is this constitution which, along with the tapasya of Indians, 75 years of tapasya of Indian, coupled with this constitution, that has brought this change from 1947 to 2023. Now the importance of Keshavananda Bhatti case comes. Why this constitution remains so even today? 103, more than 103 amendments we have already amended the constitution, but it is still a live constitution. And believe me, nobody, no force, no majority, no political philosophy, no religious power can change our constitution. Nobody can take the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Whoever be in power, don't worry. Whichever political party comes into power, don't worry. Whichever religions comes, the majoritarian religions tomorrow, don't worry. Because as long as this Constitution of India is there, we are going to be governed by rule of law. We are going to get our fundamental rights. We are going to get our equal opportunities for all citizens. And this happened only because of the Keshavananda Bharati judgment. Keshavananda Bharati judgment said, don't touch the basic features, basic structure of the Constitution. But for Keshavananda Bharati, I am not sure how long our Constitution will survive in this nature. But because of Keshavananda Bharati, we are all sure that this Constitution, with the help of which we traveled from a non-entity in 1947 to a great power, world power in heading G20, a world power in 2023, this happened only because the judgment and Keshavananda Bharati's case. Without Keshavananda Bharati's case, I don't think I doubt the sustaining of this Constitution. Because Keshavananda Bharati judgment is there, this Constitution will remain, its basic features will remain. It will continue to give us not only fundamental right, it will continue to lead India to the #1 position in the world. This is the importance of Keshavananda Bharati. With these few words, I thanking Swamiji for giving me this opportunity to speak in this occasion. I stop my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for gracing and enriching the occasion with your scholarly knowledge.